Ford's Coyote engine has already proved itself to be one of the greatest engines ever made. I mean, these things with power adders will run into the 7-second zone, but in a nice lightweight car, even a naturally aspirated Coyote can run into the 9s. Our Coyote here in Mustang has been 1050s at 3,300 pounds. Today we're looking to go a little bit faster, so we're going to upgrade the intake to a Cobra jet. First things first, since I know you're going to ask, yes, we are installing a used intake. We're going to actually customize this at some point in the future. Plus, we had it from another project car. We wanted to show you the process of how to install the CJ. Now, the CJ intake is the king of naturally aspirated intakes. The 350 manifold, the 18 manifold, they'll all make power on the first and second gen Coyotes, but the king is still the CJ as far as high RPM power. This will extend the power band up to around 8,000 RPM on our engine and make power all the way through. It features a 102mm inlet and a very straight through plastic design, which again is going to make power, especially in the high RPM. Now to install this, you will need an aftermarket throttle body and some sort of an aftermarket cold air kit. Now, since Mustang is a race car with manual brakes and no emissions equipment, the installation will be a little bit different, but the basic concept's the same, and we'll explain what we're doing as we go along. The first step, disconnect the fuel line. You can't actually pull the fuse for the fuel pump and run it until it shuts off, but it really isn't gonna be too much fuel coming out. Push these two blue tabs and pull the fuel line off. Now we're gonna bolt the fuel rails, be 2 bolts on each side. Okay, now we're going to disconnect all the plugs for the injectors. Okay, now we can lift the rail up and off. You will get a little fuel come out of the injectors as well. A little shimmy, they'll pop out. Disconnect the throttle body harness. Disconnect the mass air sensor. Then remove the cold air kit. Now we can remove our intake manifold. 3 bolts on each side. Now we can remove the intake manifold. There are a couple wire harnesses attached to the back of it. Just want to pop those off. Next, we have to change out this fitting here. This will actually get in the way of the new throttle body. The intake includes a new pipe that'll clear. Now, the throttle body required for the Cobra jet intake is the style used on the GT500. It'll also work on the Cobra jet, but our plug is going to be wrong. Now, when you buy the throttle body, it includes a harness, but you have to de-pin this plug to use it. So first thing you're going to do, get a small screwdriver, just pop this red cap off. And you'll need literally like a jeweler screwdriver. They do make a de-pinning tool, but if you don't have one, basically what you're going to do is go right on top of the plug here. There are little pieces you can lift up and pull the pin out. Now, the best way to pin the new harness is to grab the actual throttle body adapter, plug it in. All the colors match up on the other side. So you got your yellow violet, blue green, brown, blue red, yellow, and then green purple at the bottom. Just make sure it matches up. Install the pins on the new harness. Make sure you hear a light click when they go in. Now when you install these pins, you'll see it's kind of squared, but there's a little notch at the top here. You want that notch pointing up. That'll actually clip in place. little clicky here is the plastic piece going into that notch. Okay, now I can begin the installation by installing the new adapter here. All right, put the fuel rails onto our new Cobra jet. Now again, my fuel rail connects on the passenger side. If you're doing this in the factory, you want this over on the driver's side. Okay, now we're gonna snug the bolts down and we'll torque them to spec. All right, now we can torque everything down. We're basically gonna start on the passenger side every time. Start with the middles, the fronts, then the rear to 89 inch-pounds. Again, inch-pounds. If you do it at foot-pounds, you're gonna be hating life. Now we can reinstall original fuel rail bolts. Okay, now we're going to go back through and plug in all of our injectors. Now we're going to reconnect the fuel line. We might get a little fuel come out of here. Now we're going to install the throttle body. I have the adapter harness here. Throttle body. That plugs into the factory wiring. Now your PCV or oil separator would connect here. In our case, we're running breathers, again, because race car, so we just have a plug on this. Now this connects to the factory intake for the fuel line vapor hose. Basically, again, with our setup, we don't need this. We're gonna plug this, connect this hose to the side of the intake, and then plug it in. At this point, the installation of the Cobra Jet manifold is complete. You'll need a cold air kit specific for your vehicle. And for the 11 and up cars, we have JLT, we have PMAS, we have Ford Performance, there's all kinds of options. In our case, we'll need something custom, but we'll get to that later. Now, a couple things to consider if you think you're ready for a Cobra Jet intake for your car. Now, again, you saw we reused the stock injectors. With a stock motor on pump gas, you'll be fine with the stock injectors. If you're thinking E85 or you've got cams or more modifications, well, you want to go with at least a set of 47s. Now, when it comes to fitment, the Cobra Jet is a huge intake. So on certain fitments, you will have issues. In our case, we were pretty sure it wouldn't clear the stock hood, and it doesn't. So if you're talking a Fox body or an SN95 with a swap, you're going to need a new hood if you want to put a Cobra Jet intake on. If you have an 11 through 14 Mustang, it'll fit underneath the stock hood without any problems. 15 and up, again, you'll need a cowl hood or lowered motor mounts for the installation. As far as the installation goes, you will want to tune when it's done, but you'll definitely see some huge high RPM gains. It should take you about an hour and a half to 2 hours to install. Be back on the road in no time.